Hello and welcome back to the potty.
G'day, g'day.
Hello. Look at the little area that we're in. It's only 22 degrees and it feels like fucking 40, but love it.
It's absolute scorcher.
You know what? I'm very grateful that it's still the autumn's still providing us with the sun, and that's all I'm going to focus on. I'm not focusing on the negative about that. But
not the sweat dripping down.
Okay, this is sweat coming out of my nose for some reason.
That's snot.
No, it was like right on the outside. Oh. Where are we?
We're in Marrickville, and I don't do inner west stuff. Like, I'm a newy girl.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought that Marrickville was going to be like Newey, but it's like nothing like that. It's basically like Marrickville, but clean. Marrickville's just so dirty. Like
Marrickville, but clean?
Yeah, Newey is Marrickville, but clean. Like,
yeah.
I wish you could just see over here. There's like fucking a whole box of like stubby cans. And it's just like, everything's always about fucking beer, craft beer. It's just like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
We get it, you drink. And you do fucking cocaine like every day. And you kind of, I don't know how you can afford it because you have rich parents.
Yeah, it's expensive around here. But anyway, it's a cute little excursion.
Really, yeah.
Getting out and about in new places.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Talking about new places.
What we wanted to touch on was more learning how to have relationships with your family members. They're the trickiest, I reckon.
100%. Because if you don't like them, you sort of...
You still have to see them.
Especially if you have close-knit family, you have to be around them. So I feel like that's the difficult part for us, because we don't just cut off family. That's just like not a thing that we would really do. So you have to be around them. Like, they're around all the time.
Yeah, well, when I moved, I grew up around my family. Like, we grew up around Bankstown. I'm a Bankstown girly. And I always lived near my parents' house, so we were always geographically close. Mm-hmm. But they weren't good relationships. Mm-hmm. But I didn't feel we had healthy relationships. So moving to Newey was my way of like getting away from my family and creating a bit of space. And since doing that, I've been in therapy, and now I'm ready to establish some more healthier relationships. Particularly, I was kind of going with the worst relationship first.
Who was that?
With my older sister, Natalie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not bad in a sense. Like, she is who she is.
Talk at all.
We're just not on the same page. That's pretty much bottom line. We don't communicate very well, and that's something that I want to fix. Also, she has how do I say it? She's got a high degree of delulu.
That's one way of putting it.
She has a funny way of looking at the past. I mean, everyone's memories are always going to be different, and that's the reality. Everyone's experience is different, but her experience seems to be like completely different to what actually, like, nowhere near what actually happened. And
like, I don't even. But the stories that she tells of that time are accurate. Just her view of it is inaccurate. Like, if you were to ask someone from an outsider, like, oh, okay, this is her story, what do you think about it? They're like, well, you're a flop. Like, do you know what I mean? But she's like, well, I'm not a flop. I was like the best.
She takes very little accountability for anything, and she just hasn't been very nice to me. Yeah. And she's just kind of, just spoken a lot of shit. And I'm like, let's not do that anymore. So anyway, I'm more about, let's get together, let's share the love, and let's move forward in a healthy way. So tomorrow for Easter, the whole fam bam's coming over, and I was talking to Catherine, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to sit down and just have a little bit of truth. I'm kind of over the bullshit. And it's not in a you're full of shit kind of way. No. It's like, let's be fucking real.
Yeah.
Like, if we're going to hang out with each other and we're going to do these family things, let's be fucking real. And then Catherine was like, you know what? I actually want to talk to our other sister too. Let's have a circle. Like, all four of us, we're all sisters. Let's all sit down and have a circle and start having some like actual real conversations instead of like your feelings, my feelings, because that could go back and forth forever. And we're never going to get to a point where we're agreeing on anything, especially when it comes to feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like setting the foundation, like, this is what I want our relation to be like.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to be able to hang out and have fun. How can we get there?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? And what am I going to do? And what are we going to do as a collective to get us there?
And having fun is just like the bar's on the fucking floor. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like I want you to do this. Like, we don't need to see each other often. It's only like when we see each other every 6 months, I just want to have fun. Like, that's it. Like, it is. And we don't have fun at all. We used
It's
to have
so
fun.
awkward. We used to have fun. We used to be able to have fun and laugh, and it was good. But now we've grown up, and life be lifing. We have just stuff has got in our way.
Whoa,
Oh,
is
there's
it
a
white
butterfly. That's Lucas.
Is it white if it's Lucas?
Yeah. Well, he's blue. He's just butterflies.
Okay.
It's also transformation. But we've just got a bit too serial with life.
100%. I've decided, like, I decided this a couple months ago, but I kind of lost track of it, that I only want to have fun. That's like the only thing that I want to do. That's the only thing I want to focus on. That's my 2024 is have fun, and that's it. Like, with every aspect of my life. So I don't want to get specific about anything. I don't want to be like, I want to have fun doing this, and I want to do this, and I want to work on that, and I want to work on... No, just have fun with everything. Whoa.
Why is Mother Nature just like...
She's saying have fun, and then she did this. She did this. That's
She,
have fun.
she shook her tail feather.
She shook her titties.
She was like, I agree.
Fun.
Leaf for you, butterfly for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all coming out. This is what happens when we go
diva.
outside.
We just never go outside. We're like, why is there leaves
Wait.
and fucking
Is
animals?
that a
out
tree?
here?
That's so weird. With leaves? That's insane.
I'm like, oh, that's the universe.
It's always talking. Synchronicities. You know if you know.
You know.
So just getting out of the whole you're mean, like...
You did this, you
Yeah.
did that, and I don't like this, that you do that. I don't like the way... Let's just stop.
You didn't
and
call
let's just drop
me-
everything.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care about any of that. I just want to have fun, not talk about anything serious, not talk about anything, really. We'll just lay the foundation of like, okay, guys, this is it.
Now,
This is what happens.
and here's a
Now
gummy.
You do this, and now we have fun. Like, everyone's so serial, and I'm just not enjoying it. So I think tomorrow we'll have a serious chat. We'll see how that goes. Also, the gaslighting you want to touch on with her a little bit as well.
because she was talking a bit of shit about me, and I was like, listen, and I called her out on it in a family group chat, because I feel like that's a good place to go. And I was like, Nat, like, can we not do this anymore? And she was like, I don't like this accusatory tone. I was like, well, I don't like you talking shit. And she was like, I'm not. Like, she didn't say I didn't. You know, some people where they don't say they didn't do it, but they put it back on
she's
you.
very good at her choosing words.
She was like, your accusatory tone, I'm not, like, this is so out of line. I can't believe you're doing this, and fully gaslighting me into being like, how dare you say that about me? I would never. And I'm like, I know you did. So anyway, she leaves the chat.
W's in the shot.
And I see her a few days later, and I was like, I need to talk to you. And I sat her down, and she was like, kept saying, I didn't. And I said, fine, I'm going to get Catherine, because you actually said all this stuff to Catherine. I'm going to go get her. She was like dying on the couch, but I would have dragged her candy ass up. I would have said, Catherine, did she say this? And you would have been like, yeah, you did. Can I go back, lie down? And I was like, do you want me to go get Catherine? Because I'll get her. And she'll say, yeah. And she was like, fine, I said it. And at no point in time did she be like, apologizing. You know what? I shouldn't have accused you of your accusatory tone. It's not so much that I want to bring it up because I want to put her down. I just want to bring her up being like, you do this. She's done this quite a number of times, and I'm kind of bringing it up to be like, this is what you do. This seems to be a little bit of a pattern with you when it comes to me. I know it. I see you. You need to cut it out. We, as both of us, need to find a way to be more loving. If you carry on like this, one, I will fucking call you out for it. Two, we're going to have a bit of a fucking problem, and it's hard to share the love when you're fucking it up like that. So we need to like set our clear boundaries with all of us, being
Yeah.
like, we are not going to do this.
Yeah.
We're not going to go down these paths again. We're not going to talk about each other behind each other's backs. We're not going to do these kinds of things. We need to set clear boundaries. These are the rules for the game.
And have open communication.
You got a problem, speak to the person. Be honest, speak from your heart. Don't speak from your ego, speak from your heart. Say what you need to say. And all conversations need to be about resolution.
Yeah.
It's every conversation, I feel like if you fight with someone, the next conversation has to be resolution. Go straight into, okay, how can we get back on track?
It's all semantics if you go, you said this and you said that, blah, blah, blah. So just be like, look, this is where we want to be. Let's work together and communicate on how we can get there. I just feel like our sisters are just so floptina with communication. Like, they have all this stuff to say and they just don't fucking say it.
They're not, but like, when it comes to the sisters, Catherine and I are very like vocal. Hello, we've done a podcast. And we're very like, you're never going to hear someone say, I don't know what Bronwyn and Catherine are thinking. That those kinds of conversations aren't said. We say pretty much, I mean, we stopped saying stuff recently in the last few years because it was like, no one's listening.
Yeah.
But we're pretty like straight up people. So it's not that we like confrontation, but if we have to do it, we have to do it. It has to be done. Whereas our other two sisters are very similar in a sense that they don't like confrontation.
I think they just don't like to be held accountable because that means they would have to accept defeat or do something wrong. And I'm like so okay with accepting I did something wrong.
Accepting responsibility and taking accountability.
Because that's the resolution. I'm like, if you need that, I'll give it to you. But
I would say in the past I was very straight up, but I was not accountable at all. Like I was straight up, but like fuck off, I did not do that. I would take it like
because
I would.
It's not accepting that you did something wrong. It's like, okay, that's your view, and I'm sorry that you had that view. It's not really like, because that's how everything is. It's just how you perceived it. Like,
Yeah.
I perceived it like this. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that like you're inherently like whatever. It just means I perceived it this way. You know, what I would probably need is just an apology because I've held this for a really long time and this is how you've treated me, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, I'm sorry. And you're like, okay, all right, just don't treat me like that. And if they don't treat you like that, then that's all good.
Yep.
It's
just a conversation, just to clear the air. And so we're all on the same page and then we all know how to move forward. And I get why people in my family don't want to talk to me. I can totally vouch for the fact that I ripped a few faces off in my time.
I actually don't get why they wouldn't want to talk to you. I actually don't get that. Because they need to relax. Like, victim conscious, like, are you just
Oh,
such
no,
a
I
victim?
don't. No. I get, like, if you're not a very confrontational person. Like, I accept my part in a sense. And by me trying to bridge the gap is like, this is me meeting you here.
Yeah.
But you also need to do a little bit of the work to meet me here.
I also don't think it's confrontation. I think it's just a conversation.
I think it's hard to be honest with family.
Because that's what I hear all the time. Like, everyone's like, I don't like confrontation. Like, what's confrontation? Like, we're not like literally
But I don't
punching
think
each other in the face.
But I don't think we're taught how to have conversations.
Yeah. So do you think everything's a confrontation? Like, speaking
But
up.
I think
some people think speaking up is a confrontation.
But sometimes it does lead to that because if you don't know how to do it properly, and you trigger someone, then you're in a confrontation. So you could go in there with the best of intentions.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into, I went to this event and I didn't like that all the speakers were white. I wanted to see more diversity, more people from different backgrounds. From a background, I grew up in Bankstown. I worked at Fields of Fruit when I was 19 years old. I was the only white person there. Like, growing up around different nationalities was so normal to me. Like, I didn't even think it was a thing. And when I went to this event, and since moving to Newcastle, it's so white. And I just think, oh my gosh, how is everyone else coping with this? I am struggling with it. So this girl was like that ran the event. She was like, feedback welcome. So I was like, hey, I would like to see more diversity. And she goes, what do you mean by diversity? And I was like, I would like to see people from different walks of life, Indigenous people, like
Disabled, older, different ages.
I was more
like
focusing
everything.
on the different nationalities, but it could, like, we could go on forever. Like, neurodiversion. There was a guy in a wheelchair there, so that kind of had that. But she was like, I didn't even know that there was only white people there. And then we kind of went back and forth, and she was a bit defensive that I was kind of having a go at her speakers. And I was like, I'm not having a go at your speakers. I'm just saying, if you want feedback, this is what I think would be better at the next event. And it's not, I don't have a problem with all the speakers that you had. They all shared their stories. It is what it is. But if I'm going to another event and you want feedback, this is what I want to see at the next event. And if you don't, I probably won't go.
And diversity, like, come on. Like,
and she goes,
what is diversity? Like, are you fucking for real?
And she goes, like, I don't want to, do this to tick a box. And I'm like, I absolutely don't think you should be doing diversity to tick a box. And why would we even talk about doing diversity to tick a box? That is crazy to me that that's where you immediately jump to.
It's more of just like, so that we can have different people involved in this event, and if more diverse people are coming, then more a diverse audience
will come too, because they'll see people that look like them. Put it this way. So Joe Dispenza said at his events, if someone goes up there and tells a story, and someone in the crowd is the same nationality as them or whatever, they move 10 times faster because they're like, that person did it, that means I can.
Yeah.
So if we have people from all different walks of life on this planet, then you need to have diversity in the speaking realm so that people are inspired and they're like, oh, that person can do it, I can do it. It doesn't mean like we're all people, we're all one, I get that. But people move faster and are inspired more when the people that are like them can do things and break boundaries, like break the glass ceiling or whatever they call it. And that was me, this is my feedback. I didn't know that was going to be a confrontational moment. I honestly didn't think that I had to say to her a number of times, I didn't have a problem with the speakers. She's like, it was diverse. And I'm like, I had to then keep saying, I'm not talking about your speakers. I'm saying next time, this is what I want to see. Like, we can sit here and, some people that have a project or something they've worked on and they're very, very passionate about it. And I didn't want to take anything away. I know how hard it is to do an event. It's very difficult. You pour your heart and soul into it. I would never put anyone down for trying to have a crack at an event or doing it. That's great. But if you want feedback, this is what feedback looks like.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh, your event was shit. Like, that's not what you're saying.
No.
It's literally just like, it's good. That's the best feedback because you can actually use that. Like, it's not like you're like, oh, it's not like people say, oh, I don't like that. You're like, okay, what do you like about it?
I didn't like, there wasn't enough beers or wines. Or wait, it's like something you can't fix.
Yeah, and it's just like, no, I'm focusing on to better your event, to make it better, and to include people. Like, you should be welcoming this feedback and thankful. And I think people with businesses, when they start them, that's just the problem. When they receive feedback, they get so hypercritical from it, they get defensive. Whereas you should get, like, at my work, if we get feedback, they're like, yep, okay, all good, we'll look into it. And they actually do. Like, they don't get all, like, fancy-pantsy with, like, well, that's how you make it. If you don't fucking like it,
go somewhere else.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. We're going to look into it right now. Blah, blah, blah. Like, they actually welcome feedback. Where if you don't, you're not going to grow. Like, that's the only way that you know that you're doing something wrong. If someone tells you, like, how are you supposed to know if you're doing something wrong if no one's going to fucking tell you? So by you saying, hey, if you do this, also more people will come to your event. Like, you'll make more money.
I was not gaining from this feedback experience, and it was a back and forth all day. And I felt like, oh, now I'm a bitch and then I had to say all these things about the event that I like. Because I'm like, she's like, but I did do that. And I'm like, but you didn't. Like, so you did it to the extent of which.
It's giving racist. It was giving, at that point, if you can't take a diversity as feedback, that's, you need to look inwards.
That's internal racism.
Yeah, you need to, if you took a photo of the fucking speakers and you look at their fucking colour of their skin, they're all fucking white. So that's not diverse because that's the majority of people. The minority are Indigenous or Asians or, whatever. Like, minorities actually need a voice too. And if you don't include them, nothing's going to change, and it's just your events are going to be floptina because everyone's like, well, they're fucking the same. White people have the same stories.
And I feel like there's a lot of internal racism going on in Newcastle.
100%. I feel like we're sort of founded on racism.
It's just, I'm not here for it at all. I don't like it. It's very white. It's just, and there's a reason why it's very white. And I feel like it's because people, and I haven't heard this, but they probably don't feel comfortable there.
Yeah, 100%.
And
when you walk the street, it's all white people.
Everywhere. It's not good.
But there is, like, other minorities there that are there, but it's just they're not being able to have a vessel to be able to express themselves.
That's it. There's just not enough events and I was like, but to me, I got angry, but in the best way. Like, all right, I'm going to create that community then.
Yeah. You're like, if you're not going to take my feedback, I'll just take it myself.
And I was like, that's it.
Also, it's not that hard to find. I even know of, you had met someone that was an Indigenous autism that was like a motivational speaker. Like, it's not like they don't exist in Newcastle. Like, you literally met one.
Yeah.
So, like, they exist, and he has a podcast, and he has all this other stuff. Like, there is ways to find people. You just need to look. Like, people are just so floptina, and they're
I think
so lazy.
This person,
Splendour being cancelled and sort of the feedback of that, because we were talking a couple of months ago about how floptina events are.
Yeah, we were literally having this conversation.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that guy on TikTok. I can't remember who he is, but he's
it's like Melbourne guy that like started these, like he had a couple of clubs and stuff.
Yeah, and he talks about gigs and stuff. And he was saying originally the reason why the events keep shutting down or they keep not running them is because people aren't buying the pre-sale tickets. It's all your fault, basically. Yep. It's all the people's fault. They're not buying tickets. The lineups aren't as good anymore because they were getting money from COVID, and that money's not coming in, so they can't do the big
events and big lineups and big
headliners. But now he's gone.
Now he's changed his... And we disagreed with that. We're like, no, first of all, there's so many good artists in Australia, especially for dance music. Like,
yeah,
dance music is really, really big in Australia right now. And a lot of the Australian artists are going overseas because there's no
here.
other...
Well, they only want Ocean Alley or the Rubens.
Yeah, it's just like all these flop and Future and Kylie Minogue's a headliner. Like, fucking for real. And they're just thinking of numbers and who's the biggest artist, but like there's
not much prep going in.
No.
You were saying yesterday.
They just said that they just tried to make the audience really really big so that many people can buy the tickets. But like, you don't want to buy a $500 ticket if you only like a couple of people in the lineup. Like, you need to make it niche, or you need to make it to like these certain people so that all those people buy the tickets. Like, and especially with SoundCloud now, like everyone is on SoundCloud, and especially me. And
well, if you're into music, you're on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
Come on.
especially dance music, because dance music is not on fucking Spotify. It's like all like the major people, but like proper dance music that are uploaded by smaller artists are all on SoundCloud, so you can listen to a huge diverse of music. And I'm like, okay, why? And all of these people are popular on SoundCloud. Like, it only takes you 2 seconds to fucking look at it, because all the
you can see all the data.
Good.
Yeah,
SoundCloud's really good. When you look at an artist, it recommends you all these other artists that are really good as well, and they have like their bios in their SoundCloud. Like, it's all like really well. It works really well. You just need to take the fucking time to actually fucking look at it. And they're just so fucking lazy. They're like, oh, we'll just get fucking... Who the fuck listens to Future?
I don't even know who is Future.
It's this, like, random guy from, like, 2016. Like, he has big songs, but he's, like, a bit of a flop-tina. Like, he doesn't sell tickets.
No one's obsessed with him.
No. And, like, Kylie Minogue's good, but
for
she's
nostalgia,
not good for, like...
She's not a headline.
The whole event, yeah.
Not like, oh my God. Like, she'd be cool if she was, like, pop, like, on, and you'd be like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no. Even, like, because Pitch and Lost Paradise, they used to be with, like, Ocean Alley. They used to do that crowd. But now they've changed gears because they know that dance music is, like, the new thing right now.
Yeah.
So they're marketing towards that, and they sold all their tickets, and people are spending $500, $600 plus with, like, the fucking camping packages and everything else to go to these events. If people are even going to Pitch in Victoria, BTV... from Sydney just to go to these events. So people are willing to spend the money. People are willing to travel. People are willing to do all of that if it's a good fucking lineup and if you create it for those specific people.
Yep.
So it's
Go big or go home.
The argument of like living crisis and cost of living
It's bullshit.
And, you know, that people aren't buying pre-sale and all that stuff is just flop Tina, because all of these events are working. Like even smaller events in Sydney are selling out, like Digi events, Entity,
Fred again.
like all of these other people that are smaller events are selling out. So it can be done, like Daytime, Eora, and all that shit. So you just need to, I reckon they need to work with the smaller events, get in links with them, figure out what's the go, what's the vibe of what's everyone liking right now, and get those kinds of.
The game has changed.
Yeah, there's so many international artists that are not very big, but they're big in their communities.
Yep.
That are pretty cheap right now. So if you get them now while they're cheap, and you know you got to figure that shit out. You just got to work the land.
You don't have to be like, who's the biggest person, pay all this money.
Yeah.
You could be really smart and clever and be like, you know what,
have a bigger lineup.
Yeah.
And have it all these smaller people, but everyone knows who they are in those communities, and they sell more tickets. So I think they just need to they're all older, I think. I think they're all like millennials that need to start marketing, because millennials don't want to go to festivals anymore. They don't want to go in the mud and in the camping because they've done that. The Gen Zs haven't done that, and they want to. And
they don't want to listen. And they don't want to listen to indie rock.
Yeah, and they're living with their parents, so they have fucking money to spend. It doesn't really matter. So like, market towards those people, not like these other people that are not gonna give you business. Especially festivals, why would they, besides like Blue Rock or something, like those like daytime festivals, who would market like a 4-day, 3-day festival for like 35-year-olds? Like that just doesn't, they don't want to do that anymore. They're settled down, they have like all this
families.
They have this stuff going on. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
I'm probably like the older person that would actually go. I go to events now, but I'm like the anomaly.
Yeah, but you're not like a millennial. You're like a zillennial. I didn't make that up. That's actually a real word.
But yeah, I really do feel like it's like when people on Instagram, like, I'm getting no followers because I'm shadow banned. It's trying to blame something else other than looking at themselves and the people it's all lineup. That's all it is. Also,
I think if Splendour just came to me and be like, who was it? I'll give them all these.
But like, gaslighting it to blaming other people.
I know, it's just so crazy.
Blaming the people that are buying the tickets.
Yeah.
Let's go blame them for us doing a really bad job at a lineup.
Yeah, and isn't it weird that like music can change over time?
And then we can't just do the same thing as we did last year. They want something different or the year before. That's great. I'm actually going to have to work and look and listen to music and speak to people and organize this. I mean, it's not that hard. And I just feel like
I think once they're just so out of touch.
Well, as we were saying,
on the money.
And we were saying, like, before, it was easy because everyone listened to Triple J. Yeah. So they would just go, right, this was in the top 100, this is Unearthed, and all the music came from the one spot. So it was like, okay, that's easy. People like this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. Now you've got SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, whatever. You've got so much options now. You don't have to be forced into listening to a certain genre of music because there is so much out there. And that's when you've got a lot of options, people are going to have more diversity into what they like listening to because they're not being told what they can listen to. So you're actually going to have to find out, what are the people listening to? Yeah,
because like in the 90s, all of like the dance music was more underground because they couldn't go on Triple J. They couldn't, go on the radio because that's not how it works. But now SoundCloud's a thing, and it enables smaller artists to platform their songs and their music, that they can actually get fans and get followers, whereas, before that didn't happen. So it's not like it just popped up out of nowhere.
No.
Like, this has been since, like, the 70s, the late 90s. So, like, it's not like this isn't a thing. Like, this has been around for a very long time. It's just that now they have a space where they can share their art, and I feel like you just need to fucking step the fuck up.
And there's a lot of like independent. I follow a few independent artists like that. What do they do? Support themselves. What does that mean? Like, a lot of artists are representing themselves, which I love because
record labels
screw
just take
them
your fucking money and
they don't do the work.
No, well, like
you're the one up there performing. They're just doing, I don't know,
'Cause
whatever.
you also, like, with the record label, you have, like, release dates. You can't release at a certain time. You have to wait for clearance from this. You have to wait for this and that. The art, the work, the this and that. Like, it's all so, like, it's that much work that you can't even release your own music whenever the
Yep.
fuck you want to. Because, oh, no, so we have this artist that is releasing their thing now. You can release it at this time. You're like, well, fuck you. I'll release whenever the fuck I want, and I'll just start my own fucking label. Obviously, you don't have, like, marketing and ad revenue behind you. But, like, bruh, do it your fucking self, honestly.
There's this one bloke I follow on Insta. He just jumps in a van, takes all his like guitar, it's all indie rock stuff that I like, and he just travels around Australia.
Yeah.
And he just does gigs, sleeps in the van, goes to the next gig, and yeah, he has his own little setup. He tells other people how to do it. Got a Google Doc to
That's really cool.
do everything, and I feel like that is the future, because then I can go to the local pub or whatever, see someone that's about to pop off or something like that, and be like, oh, he's cool, like,
Yeah.
and I'm more interested in that like salt of the earth, doing it yourself, all that kind of stuff, and I reckon that's where things are moving towards. We're moving away
Definitely.
from big organizations,
Radio.
like taking all the control away from people. And I personally would support independent artists any day of the fucking week.
There was this artist that when I did like my DJ gig, I had like fucking 6 of his songs in my set because I just loved his music so much. And I messaged him, I was like, I'm like obsessed with your music, thank you so much. I said this like whole paragraph, and he was like posted on his stories like, this is why I do music.
Oh, I love that.
And it's just more like intimate, you know. I mean, all of my friends know. I don't know. I probably could figure out why, but I just don't like music on the radio because I hear it over and over and over and over again. Like, I just hate repetitive music. That's what I hate. I like to choose when I get to fucking listen to it, and I don't like to be spat at me all the fucking time.
It's got a controlling element. Like, you're
Yeah.
gonna like this song. We're gonna make
Yeah.
you like it.
Like when a song that I like comes on the radio, I get so annoyed because then like everyone's listening to it, everyone likes it, and I'm just like,
oh, well, I don't like it either, because then I'll go to the event. There's too many people. I have to
Yeah.
line up to get
Yeah,
a drink,
exactly.
and I'm like, no. I like it when they're cute
Yeah.
at little
Or like-
venues, little intimate venues.
Yeah. Or like when there's like a song that pops off, like I listen to like an unreleased song and then it pops off and everyone's singing it and everyone like goes to their thing and everyone's like wants to go see that artist. I'm like,
I liked it when I was little.
literally.
I liked it first.
Yeah. I was first.
I was the OG.
It's because, I don't know why. It's just, maybe I'm just a pick me. Maybe it's just because I'm just like,
You're anti-people.
literally.
I reckon I'm more of a fan of like backyard chats as a potty thing.
Yeah.
I reckon this was one of the chillest,
I'm just so fucking hot.
the
Actually.
illest.
My legs are like,
Oh, they can't see it. It's just like, it's like reflecting
it's like Jesus' resurrection.
the white
Happy
light.
Easter. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Havin a Yarn with Catherine and Bronwyn. Love you all.
Bye.